Michael, as you look into the crystal ball, and maybe you don't have to look too far out
Yeah.
to guess or anticipate some of the things that are going to change about the way we sell to businesses.
hmm
What would you say are some of the things that you think are going to be different a year, 18 months, 5 years from now?
Geez, this is why they pay me the really big dollars. I'm not sure I have the answer. I have some hopes,
Okay.
and and some of that's countered with a little bit of cynicism about really will we do this? Will we do this? I think the reason so what I've been doing recently, and this is a little off target, is I've become curious about disasters. And I happened to read a month, maybe 6 weeks ago, an interesting opinion piece in the New York Times, and it was looking at what happened during the 1964 earthquake in Alaska
Mm,
and how people's behaviors in the community in Anchorage changed, rather from being of self-interest
mhm,
to recognizing that the best way to protect themselves and to look at their own self-interest was to focus on the community interest and work
mhm,
together. And what happened is you notice behaviors changed in disaster. And so I started doing some research on disasters, and you look at every single one, and we have things in our own personal experiences: Katrina,
mhm.
9/11. I live in California, so the fires that we've
Right.
had in Northern California and so on, and the spirit of goodness and how people come together in a sense of community, both from a community point of view, but also from a business point of view, and how
Mhm,
they work differently. And then that passes and we revert back to normal things.
mm,
And my hope is we are learning so much today about how to be better business people, about how to create better value. We're learning so much today about how to be better citizens and better within our communities and more helpful within our communities. And as I mentioned a moment ago, is it would be a tragedy, a terrible loss in terms of business performance, business productivity, in terms of what happens in our community, is in 6 months or a year, we revert back to those normal behaviors.
yeah.
The hope that I have is that if you look at those past tragedies, is I had having lived in Manhattan for a very long period of my life, I had a lot of people that were impacted by 9/11.
Sure.
And so I have very close memories that have stayed with me all my life and since then, and have impacted my behaviors.
Mhm,
People who've been through things like Katrina and so on and so forth have things that have done that, but the rest of the world hasn't seen that, so they go back to business as usual. Um, Nobody in the world will be untouched by what we're facing right now. They'll
right.
all have a family member, a friend, somebody in the community, somebody in work, in their
Mm,
company, and all that has been impacted by this. All the businesses that they know will have been impacted by this. And I would hope that our collective memory of this experience that everyone in the world is going through will carry through and drive some changes. You know, from a selfish point of view, you say, if we can keep our organization, our people engaging customers in the same way that they're engaging people now, if we can keep them doing that next year or the
mm,
year after and so on and so forth, imagine what business performance and relationships look like. If we can lead our people and work with them in the kind of sense of caring and compassion that we have right now, and we continue that in 6 months, a year, 2 years, imagine the power we create in organizations,
mhm.
and how much we unify people around what we're trying to achieve, whether it's as a business or whether it's in our community. So I have hopes that, and I know that people have bad memories, so
Yeah.
that 100% of this won't be carried forward. But again, if we carry 25% of it forward, we've made our businesses better businesses. We've created greater loyalty with our customers. We've created greater environments and a greater culture within our business and hopefully within our community.
Yeah. Well,